talk to me a little bit more about, can a staffing company or a company that has a staffing arm truly be vendor neutral? What are some of the truths and misconceptions there?
First of all, I think it's a good question, and it's a very fair question. The way I would think about it, and a little bit of this is my past informing my present, but staffing firms in general have very, very deep expertise in how to find, recruit, retain talent. So that's a core premise of these programs. I think the other thing, and I mentioned this before, is governance. So when you have a program and you're running it with a provider, whomever it is, the client has a responsibility and the provider has a responsibility to ensure that the outcomes that you're planning are actually being achieved. So that is really, I think, a key component. Then the other, if we go back to tech, if you have the right tech, you're going to generate the transparency, leverage, control that you're after with your program. So you generate the transparency that allows you to have good governance over the program with the technology itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so vendor neutral, obviously a very attractive option right now.
A lot of energy about it.
A lot of energy about it. So what are the most successful models that we're seeing out there?
I really don't like to think of it in a binary, whether it's what we used to do versus vendor neutral, or I do think there's not a one-size-fits-all environment that we're in. The talent environments are becoming much more complicated. We're thinking about talent much more holistically than we used to. And so I would say, what we see more often than not is, rather than a pure vendor neutral model, we may have vendor neutral as a part of the program delivery. I mentioned category and location specific solutions before. And you could have, for one category of labor, you could have a master supplier. For another, you could have vendor neutral, and you can have them in the same program. So this is, I think, that calibration to the need and a more sophisticated need is in order.
Okay, great. Meredith, anything to double down on or add to?
It's interesting. I feel like so much in healthcare comes in cycles, whether it's accountable care organizations or, the vendor neutral versus master supplier conversation. At the end of the day, what I see is health systems want reliability. They want great people to reliably show up when you're asking for them with the right skill sets, with confidence that this individual is not only credentialed, but motivated and wonderful. And also it simplifies the process for that health system to do it. So I find that as we go back and forth, at the end of the day, it's really, do you have a partner and do you have technology at the core that are going to make this easy for you, that are going to ensure the right people are showing up at your doorstep, excited about your health system and excited about caring for your patients.
Awesome. Pat, a little bit of a non-scripted curveball. Hope you're okay with that. But you come from not healthcare, but you're in healthcare. Can you give a little insight on maybe some of the trends you saw in commercial and maybe how you're seeing healthcare follows?
Yeah, it's interesting. So in the world that I inhabited for many, many years, actually the original construct was neutral, like a pure neutral model. And we moved away from that over time to a more moderated approach and a little bit more calibrated approach based on the category, location, dynamics of the labor that we were going after. So I think that you're going to see those sorts of changes and evolution in healthcare as well, where you're thinking about the workforce, as I said before, a lot more holistically, and thinking about it not just nursing, not just locums, not just non-clinical, but thinking about that in a holistic program.